Hello again, everybody. This is John and Glenn from Best Price Nutrition. Today we're going to talk about Gaspari Myofusion. It's one of the best-selling proteins that we have. We get a lot of questions about it. Just going to run through the nutritional facts with you, and then we'll kind of discuss, some of the taste, texture, and how it stacks up against some other protein powders in the market. Right off the bat, one thing to always look at when you look at protein powders, especially in supplement facts, is you'll see on labels sometimes we'll say like 55 grams of protein per serving. Well, what you have to look at is the serving size. I mean, some of the serving sizes are 100 grams or what have you. So really the best way to compare protein powders is to get the serving size to the same amount, like a 36 gram scoop like this one, for instance. I wouldn't compare this to, let's just say there's another product in the market that's an 80 gram serving size and say, well, there's more protein in the other one. Well, of course, you're looking at an 80 gram serving size. So just pay attention to that. I mean, it's some pretty basic math, so you can do that. We just get a lot of those questions sometimes, and really all it takes is to just turn the label around. You can check that out yourself. Now, calories on this one is 147 calories per scoop. The scoop on this one is 36 grams. I'm looking at the chocolate flavor, by the way. It'll vary a little bit from flavor to flavor. There's 3 grams of fat in this, and they actually add the fat in here for a reason. When you add fat to a protein powder, and you mix it in water, you're still going to get kind of that creamy, rich taste that you would if you mixed it in milk. So a lot of companies have been doing that because it really helps with the texture.
Yeah, they're trying to give you more of that milkshake flavor or texture compared to like a watered down or watery effect.
And some people like that, like a pure whey isolate, for instance, like Isoflax, Isopure, something like that. Some people like that because they don't want the fat. But 3 grams is pretty minimal, and the source of the fat, I think most of it is sunflower oil, so it's a pretty good source too. But again, that really just helps with the texture of it. It is the main reason. And you do get some nutritional benefit. Carbohydrates on this particular flavor, there's 5 grams. One of it's fiber. Fiber never really counts as a carbohydrate. It's just going to run through you. It's there for digestive purposes. And there's 2 grams of sugar. So carbs are pretty low. Again, some people be, well, there's 5 grams of sugar or 5 grams of carbohydrates. That's kind of a lot. Well, I mean, if you're drinking, 1 or 2 shakes a day, I mean, it's pretty minimal. I mean, you can kind of run around the park and, break that down. Plus, a mild insulin spike, if you take it by itself, is actually a good thing because that's going to help shuttle all the amino acids and everything into your system a lot better. Protein per serving is 25 grams. Again, you got to look at the serving size with that. For $1 for every time we get that question, it's insane.
Yeah, we get a lot of people that look at a particular product that says it has 60 grams of protein. First of all, that's with 2 scoops, and that's like an 80 gram serving size. So you break it down. If you took 2 scoops of this, you're getting 50 grams of protein, which is still high.
Yeah, there's 63 servings total. So another way you can do it is you can take the servings amount per container and multiply that by the grams of protein. That tells you how many grams of protein you get per container, and then you can divvy that up by how much you're paying for it. So you actually figure out, hey, how much am I paying per gram of protein? That's probably a better way to look at it, because really you don't want to pay for carbohydrates or fat. A really popular powder on the market, muscle milk, for instance, has a lot of fat in it per serving. It's a 2.48 container, and you can find it for around $20. Most places, we sell it pretty cheap too. But if you actually look at how much protein you're getting, there's really not that much in there because
like
your serving size is
scoop.
it's filled with fat and carbohydrates, which take up a lot of space in the container. There's only so much you could fit in there, so that's something to consider. Now, in terms of the ingredients, it's a protein blend. You want to run through the blend real quick?
Yeah, to start, there's cross-flow cold infused whey protein concentrate, cross-flow cold infused micro-filtered whey protein isolate. So there are 2 sources of whey. You've got your isolate and your concentrate. In general, with concentrate, I like to use an analogy to think of orange juice. When you get pure orange juice, it's just straight orange juice, where that's the whey protein isolate. And when you get orange juice from concentrate, it has the pulp, or water added to it. And in this, the whey protein concentrate still has a little bit of lactose and a little bit of fat attached to it, but it's a very small amount, so it's not a lot.
And it's cheaper too, so it's an economics thing too, because a 5-pound container of this is very reasonably priced, so that plays a role in it too.
Definitely. And then you've got your egg albumin, or just egg protein, and milk protein isolate. So you are getting a blend of whey, egg, and milk proteins. So it's a good blend of proteins to have, because you've got your 3 different absorption rates, which is nice.
And the milk protein is about 80% casein, 20% whey. So trying to give you an idea, when you see milk on there, that's actually a blend of whey and casein together. Some other ingredients, we touched on the lipid complex that's in here. That's the healthy fats. Again, that's more than anything, what that's going to do is that's going to give your improve the texture. So if you like a creamy, rich, more shake-like, you're going to like this product. Now it does mix well too, which sometimes when you do that, it doesn't mix as well, but this one mixes really well. It looks like there's a little bit of fiber in here. Again, nothing crazy. Personally, what I do is I've used this product quite frequently, is I do frozen berries and I blend that up. I use a hand blender. It's actually a lot more convenient than using a big blender. And I'll put, I personally use Udo's oil. I'll put that in there for some healthy fats. And then I add a product by Flora as well called Wholesome Fast Food, which has some fiber in there too. So trying to make it a more healthy shake and more of a meal replacement type,
Exactly, because this is not a meal replacement. A lot of people think, oh, it's a blend of proteins or some fats and carbs in there. It's not enough to be a complete meal. If you're using a scoop of this, you've got 140 to 150 calories. It's not much, so that's why adding that extra fiber separately and adding the extra healthy fats will make it a meal replacement.
Yeah, if you're on the run, you don't have time obviously to bring a blender with you and frozen fruit. You can drink this and eat an apple. Exactly. There's your fiber. There's some good carbohydrates there. If you're watching your carbs, let's just say, you can have a small handful of raw almonds. That would make it a really healthy meal. And if you really do the math on it, that's actually a pretty cheap meal too. So, and it's good for you. So, that's a nice way to think of it. Now, this question we had is people asked, how does it compare to looks like the Hydro Whey from Optimum Nutrition?
The Optimum Nutrition Hydro Whey is just that. It's just hydrolyzed whey protein. So more or less, that would be the Hydro Whey, or hydrolyzed whey protein, is suitable for a post-workout. Very fast absorbing. It's just whey protein broken down into amino acids, essentially, their basic component. So this is better suited as a daily protein supplement to use throughout the day or pre-bed because of the milk protein concentration in it. And whereas the Hydro Whey would definitely be something you use post-workout.
Yeah, so just two completely different products. The other product that people ask to compare to is Synthesix. I'd say that's probably amongst the most similar to it on the market right now. The thing that Myofusion and Synthesix have going for them is they're probably two of the best tasting proteins on the market is in terms of feedback. Now, obviously, it's subjective. Some people like, others don't. But by far and away, in terms of feedback, Myofusion and Synthesix take the cake, if you will, in terms of taste. They both have the same consistency. I think the Synthesix is a little higher in carbohydrates with about 15 grams.
Yeah, a little higher in calories too. I think per scoop it's about 200 calories.
Yeah.
So that one's a little bit more calories, a little bit more fat and carbs inside it.
Yeah, so that's the main difference between the two. Really, if you're not worried about calories, it's just which one you think tastes better because they are quite similar. Side effects was a question. I hate that word again, but there really are none. I mean, they're all effects. That's why I say that. Side effects, well, it's just an effect. So none that I can think of. It's a protein powder. So one thing that we'll hear sometimes as well. I heard that if I drink all this protein, my kidneys are going to shut down and stuff. The amount of protein you'd have to ingest to do that is just. I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to get it past your stomach before throwing up if you did that much. And if you don't have a pre-existing kidney condition and you're not under doctor's supervision for any reason, I don't know of any reason why there would be an issue with you taking about a gram of protein per pound of lean mass. I mean, that pretty much covers it.
I mean, bodybuilders and athletes have been doing that for years without any problem. It's some of the other things that they're doing are causing the kidney and liver problems. It's not the protein.
Yeah, it's usually exactly. The insulin on the kidney and the steroids used on the liver that'll cause some havoc. I doubt it's the protein powder.
And just real quick to go into there's one separate ingredient at the bottom here that they call Gaspari enzyme. It's basically lactase, or the enzyme lactase, which is in there because this does contain some milk protein, so it'll, albeit a very small amount of lactose inside here. They add that enzyme to help break down or help your body to break down the lactose. So for people who are lactose intolerant, you could try it. I don't know if there's enough of that enzyme in there to totally alleviate that problem. I know I haven't heard anybody have any problems with it, but that's why they add those enzymes.
Well, there's varying degrees of lactose intolerance. Some people are more intolerant than others. Some people can get away with a little bit. And it's not the milk protein per se that makes the lactose. Yeah. Lactose is actually milk sugar. It's not a protein. So it's whether or not all of it's been filtered out of the protein. If you watch some of our other videos, if you go to the whey protein isolate, for the most part, there's going to be none in there. But some they keep it in there. And like I said, this is a pretty economic protein. I believe it's $45.99 for 5 pounds. Is that right? $37.99. Oh, I'm sorry. $37.99 for 5 pounds. So a real good deal. So 63 servings. So if you break that down, that's why some of that stuff is still in there. But like Glenn said, it's pretty negligible. So I doubt it would bother you. Another question people had was, when to take it. We kind of covered that before bed, post-workout. Yeah, you could use it post-workout. It's not ideal. You do want something that absorbs faster, and you definitely want to take something with more carbohydrates. Certainly, you could add it to it. If you're low on money and you needed to make something, yeah, you could, in theory, mix this, maybe the strawberry, mix it in some fruit juice and make a post-workout out of it. It's not ideal, but it certainly wouldn't hurt you to do that. I think that covers all the questions we had on this particular product. If anyone has any other further questions, please go ahead and post them in the comments, and we'll go ahead and answer them for you. Thank you.
Thank you.